welcome to a video that has been put together to support Tuesday night's presentation on the correction of white balance. What I would point out is that this is done in Photoshop RAW Editor. Obviously you have to have a RAW file in order to work this process. The process you're about to see should work on CS3, 4, 5 and 6. You will see from the video that I'm currently using Photoshop CC. So I'm going to load Photoshop and load the file, the raw file. Now the raw file I'm going to load is a photograph of an apple that was shot on a ceramic kitchen cutting board, of which the background was white, slightly off-white, just in colour. But as you can see here, we've got a greeny blue cast. And what we're going to do with one click is amend this photograph to a as it was in terms of the capture. So I'm going to open this image, and it's now brought us into the RAW editor, and the RAW editor has got several icons along the top, and along the edge you will be able to see other controls. The control that we're currently interested in is white balance. As you float your cursor over, you will see the narrative appearing as to the purposes of these particular icons. The one I'm going to concentrate on today is white balance, so I'm going to choose the white balance eyedropper. This eyedropper is now associated with the values on the picture which are displayed in the RGB number palette. What we're looking to do is find a number which is mid-tone grey, and mid-tone grey's precise number is 128. We'll not find that unless we have a specific grey card inserted into the photograph to use as a template. But we want to get close to that particular number by floating the little eyedropper up the side around the picture until you find something that fits in the ballpark of 128 to say 145. What I've done now is I've been able to select something that floats in between. That's 124 to 145, and if I do one click, that one click has actually fixed the white balance. And if we go down here to the preview buttons, we can preview the image, and you can see there has been a dramatic change in the colour shift. As far as this particular image is concerned, I am happy to just increase the clarity slightly, which will bring out the detail in the apple, and put a little bit of vibrance into it in terms of colour. Now I'm now going to open this image in Photoshop. And I would point out at this particular stage that this tutorial is clearly one purpose in mind, and that is the illustration of the fixing of the colour balance. But I'm going to take this image now straight through to a finished JPEG. What I'm going to do in Photoshop is to make a copy. That is to drag this over this icon beside the bin, which will give me a copy. Unlock the background. And what I'm going to do with this, first of all, is I'm going to size the image. I don't want to be working with an image and then actually go ahead and start cutting it away. I prefer to cut the image to the size it's going to be, and then work on the image to bring out its characteristics. In this case, you'll see a grid appear on the screen, and this is your rule of thirds. Where you have an intersection is where you want to pop something of interest. And in my case, I want to pop the apple core sitting on this axis here. So I'm going to move this up slightly, and then if I grab the middle of the image, and bring it down, I've now brought the rule of thirds over the top of the apple core stem. At that particular time, I'm going to crop the image. What this does is it's a rule in photography that effectively makes it more pleasing to the eye, because your eye is immediately drawn to that subject matter. Next thing I'm going to do is sharpen the image. I'm going to go to the filter, and from the filter I'm going to select other. I'm going to select high pass. Now, 4 pixels is sufficient, and what you will see is the areas that are beginning to appear are the areas that will be sharpened, and those areas that effectively are greyed out are areas that will not be sharpened, namely the cutting board. What we don't want to do is over sharpen the cutting board so it takes away from our subject material. So when I say OK to that, what we now have to do is we have to blend that alteration on the top layer through to the bottom layer, and we do it using our blending modes, and our blending modes are situated underneath this little tab here, and there's quite a few of them. For this instance, soft light is the more suitable one to use. So if I click soft light, I now have a finished image. That image is now sized 8 by 10 or 10 by 8, and it can be sent out to the printer for printing. I hope that this tutorial has been useful and effectively has demonstrated to you the absolute power of one click, which effectively rectifies the colour balance of your image and literally pulls all of the colours back into line as they appeared in reality, because our camera has a difficulty in determining white, and it also has a difficulty in determining black. So what it tries to do is it tries to average out the result, and therefore what happens is you don't get true white and you don't get true black.